This film was premiering in the Nordic countries tonight. Congratulations, Valentina. You've been receiving a lot of awards lately. 3 at Locarno Film Festival, and then 1 at San Sebastian. Really big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I want to welcome you to this Q&A. Your film is also participating now in this competition of new visions here at the RIFF Festival, so it will be exciting to see how it goes. I have a few questions. I really like this film of yours, and I think it is a very sensitive portrait of violence and love and hate and family, dysfunctional families, are they all? You made 2 short films before, didn't you? I would like to ask you if you could give us some examples, if and how they are related to this film.
Thank you, Paula, and thank you for being here tonight. And I'm very glad to be here also. I just arrived, so first time in Iceland. Yes, this film is a continuation of my 2 previous shorts. In one I spoke about teenage years and the awakening of desire, and in the other one I spoke about relationship with a father. So here I didn't really expect it, but when I started writing, I write more, usually I write characters more, not about a subject or a topic. And then I thought I will write about a family, and it became little by little the relationship of a girl and her father, and also the awakening of desire and sexuality and all that.
This dropping of violence and the danger in the film, I must say that I found it very hard to watch at times, and I was basically from the very beginning I was very afraid that he might actually kill her. And I have post-traumatic stress disorder, so I was just like, oh no, it's gonna happen the whole time, even though it's so sensitive and it's so quiet in a way, but there's this underlying violence. And do you think that is a topic that you will carry on working on, like in your next projects?
I think so, because I like complicated subjects, and I knew it was going to be hard to talk about violence and not staying at the surface of condemn or judge only, or to idealize or fetishes. Sorry about my English, but violence in film can also be a very fetishist thing. So I wanted to talk about it in a more sensitive way and trying to understand how it can fluctuate, it can circulate in a family, and how you can reproduce it, and how you don't really know where it comes from. And so I think I realized a lot of things about it in the process of writing, but also directing the actors. I realized it's a very physical thing, not only a psychological thing. Sometimes it's like a rush, and it's like something that goes through you, and it's very, it's an adrenaline shot that's a bit addictive, and we try to understand with the actors how it works. So that's, I think I will continue to explore this because it's full of paradoxes and stuff like that. But I know it's a hard topic, and people tell me this, that they are afraid during the film, and I wanted to be close to it. I don't want it to manipulate people to be traumatized, but to understand what she's going through.
And I must admit, I was very happy in the end that you left us with a sort of a feel-good feeling when they sit in the car and this guy calls Yelena, and they go like, oh, and then the father reads this poem, which in my mind was sort of absolving Eva from this curse of violence, that it wasn't hers to have, that it was her forefathers or whatever. So I was very pleased, and I was like, oh, thank you, Valentina. But overall, this film is very, very sensitive, and you managed to tell a long history, like a long family history, with how you film this, how you, without words, how you pick the moments, just like in the car in the beginning when her younger sister has wet herself, and how Eva reacts to that. And then her mom says, don't mind him, ignore him, you know. It is there's so much history in that scene. It's so simple and so clear. And wonderful work, absolutely wonderful. I was wondering, when you're directing, especially like these young actresses, and in these scenes of such danger, such violence, how did you come about it? How did you do this?
Well, I worked with the actors a long time before the film, so we would all get to know each other, especially him and her. And we worked a lot like physical games, and she was a battery player, percussion player. So they would do percussion together, and it was all very physical. I don't like to work too much with emotional memory, because I think that's unnecessary, and it puts actors in a too vulnerable position. So we work with the body and to play. You know, when you're kids, you like to fight, but it's like a game. You know, so that's the way we approached it, and we did choreographic preparation for the violent scene. But it all went pretty well. I think the person that was more vulnerable at some moment was me, and the actors would actually tell me it's okay, it's okay, because you know it's hard to watch, you know. But they learn to fight as a game, as a play, as they play. Yeah.
Was there any special challenges that you had to face through the making of this film, if any? Can you tell us?
Yeah. Well, the biggest challenge was actually to be able to have a small team, because people in film industry, they all want to have a lot of people in the team, and I wanted to have a small crew so the actors would be protected, you know, and that was hard. But besides that, the shooting went very well, and we had a small team, so it was like a big family, and it was actually pretty good, and we didn't have COVID or anything, which was a miracle. So, no, the challenge, of course, is the intimate scenes. It's very hard, but I think we did the right work. We shoot chronologically, so the actors would develop a physical memory and live the characters, and that helped the acting a lot. But it costs money to do this, so we had to sacrifice other stuff like decoration and I don't know, like cars, or sometimes we ate a few sandwiches, but it was alright. But you know, we put the money in the chronology in the actors.
Very good for you. Then you're from Costa Rica, and I was wondering. Now, I mean, like in Iceland, we have the film fund, and we at the film fund they are earmarking money for films made by women, in order to try and get more women to realize their films and get into the film industry. I'm curious about how this is in Costa Rica, and also maybe in the other countries where you work. You know, is there a difference from Costa Rica and Belgium, say, or France? You've been working in both these countries, haven't you?
Yeah. Costa Rica is a weird country because now we have a lot of filmmakers, mostly women, that are showing films in big festivals. I mean, we have a lot of good films produced lately, and we have this, paradoxically, we have a fund that is in danger right now because we have this president, this is a kind of a Trump we have, and he cut all the cultural financing. So, women are organizing themselves, women filmmakers, we have a union, and I a union, not in a an organization, you know. And we're trying to push laws for equality and to have also a film law that, to support the film fund, but legally, you know, it's so I lived in Belgium, and when I arrived, I realized it was a small country, and it was the Ardennes, you know, that had many awards in Cannes and stuff like that, that actually helped develop the industry and have these kind of like legal structures, you know. So my hope is that us filmmakers will push the government to, do something. I received an award in San Sebastián the other day, and so when I went on stage, I said, this is an invitation for the president, I don't know him, of course, but so, I don't know if it will work. I've been only getting hate messages on social media, but I do know that apparently there is the minister called to have a discussion on the law, the film law. So maybe it's working, I don't know. But that's how it works sometimes.
I read an interview with you, I think it was in Variety, but I'm not sure. I was Googling you. And you were talking about that there's a need for new stories in Latin America. Can you tell us a little bit about your opinions about the films coming from Latin America and your sort of vision for filmmakers?
Thank you for this question, because it's true. I like to say that sometimes when I go to international festivals, I see Latin American films, at least the ones that were selected. They talk a lot about social topics, political topics, but sometimes I feel it's a bit repetitive, and it's always, sometimes I think they feed what European audiences want to see, and it feels a bit exotic also. So what I like is I think that we need more voices in different kind of films, because since I live in Europe, I see European French filmmakers, they allow themselves to do films also about families or middle class or their own, sexual desires or whatever they want, But we feel the pressure as Central American filmmakers to do a film about urgent topics, and it's good, it's important, but there's not only that. So I like to say that when I show the film, or I'm in Latin American festivals, so people know that actually, and we were saying maybe in Iceland you maybe sometimes feel the same, maybe people are expecting film Viking stories, I don't know what they're expecting, but we should fight against what exotism is wanting from us, So I don't know, maybe somebody has a question.
Somos de Costa Rica. Vivieron from Costa Rica.
¿En serio?
Sí, vivimos acá y mi mamá y mi padrastro vinieron a visitar y vinimos directo a ver tu película.
Ay, qué bueno. I wasn't expecting this. Bueno, los asusté, ¿no? ¿Todo bien?
Tuvimos que salir varias veces.
Ay, sí.
No pushing han er ny och no te coma y tuvimos que salir como 3 o 4 veces y es como, ya terminó.
Sí, perdón, sorry.
No pasa nada, yo traté de buscar el trailer para ver si él lo podía ver, pero y Renda aquí que
habla español también.
Bueno. y no pude ver si podía venir o no, pero bueno, salimos de las partes
sensibles, ok.
Ajá.
Sí, bueno, quería enseñar. I wanted, because they're from Costa Rica, and films from Costa Rica tend to be pretty nice and a bit for all the family. But so I wanted to make a film that was not for all the family. Sorry, maybe next one I will do.
I just wanted to say that I think there are so many Evas outside, and there are some things that can touch you personally. So I was like, at some point, like, whoa, I knew many Evas somehow. So it was amazing. I really liked it.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Felicidades.
Gracias,
Qué bueno verte
gracias,
acá.
qué bueno.
Después nos tenemos que tomar una foto.
Sí, claro.
Ella me dijo que ella fue extra en la escena del bar.
¿Quién fue extra en la escena del bar?
En la cena del bar,
¿Sí?
una tía.
Ah, la tía.
Ajá, sí, la novena extra, que ni salió, yo estaba esperando.
Maybe, I don't know if Iceland and Costa Rica may have some similarities because we all know each other. So one of her aunts was an extra in the film. So that's just to give you an idea of how. Yeah, it's a very small country. Oh, well, I'm very glad. Okay.
Any questions?
Sí.
¿A dónde ustedes como tomaron como el video más?
¿Dónde filmamos más?
Sí, ¿a dónde?
Where did we shot the film mostly? So we shot it in San Jose, but more precisely, since you're Costa Rican, I will be more precise, in Zapote, Plaza Viques. You know, those are the more south neighborhoods where I grew up, and people don't like San Jose in Costa Rica. They think it's ugly. So I wanted to film San Jose because I think if people see it in the screen, I don't know if they will find it nice, but at least they will think it's cinematographical, and stories can be told there, and you know, that's what we need actually. We need to stop looking at Paris or New York.
Widen the horizon.
Yeah, widen the horizon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to add to that the scenery, where it's shot is kind of like its own character, because for me it felt kind of chaotic, which I like and I don't like at the same time. It kind of makes the movie a bit difficult to watch, but in a nice way. It's basically it was a beautiful movie all around. So thank you.
Thank you.
I would say that maybe the chaos in the surroundings are also like a symbol of the chaos inside. So it is the outer chaos and the inner chaos. So it is one of the protagonists, but it's about emotion.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's because of this chaos of the teenager life is a bit chaotic, but also the adults are pretty lost. So I think that's how I shot it also. But also because people tend to think of Costa Rica tropical landscapes and all, maybe I also wanted to make it a bit more like dense. Maybe I exaggerated it a bit.
No, it's
but yeah, it's true. It's chaotic.
And then maybe, or I don't know if that was your intention, but Eva's mother, she's painting her walls white. She's lessening the chaos around her.
Yes. And she's forbidden the violence
Yeah.
and everything white and clean. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted a character that she's trying to fix it. She's trying to clean the whole atmosphere. But you know, it's also she's a bit blind because it's not enough to just put a cover everything on white paintings. Things are still there, but she's trying at least.
That was another detail I liked very much, was that she had her feet on the wall and you could see the dirt on the wall and then it's being painted over. It was such a small detail but very significant.
You're the first one that commenced this, so I thought nobody would notice this.
Sorry. I don't know why I coughed and so.
I think we're out of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
thank you very much. And,